Okay, let's get started here. We're going to discuss the project human resource management today, and this is chapter. Oops. This is chapter 9 in PMBOK. So we're going to discuss some of the important concepts from exam standpoint. Hi Rajan.
Hi Vijay.
Hi. We just started project human resource management. So what is project human resource management? These are the processes required to make the most effective use of the people involved with the project, including all the stakeholders.
Vijay?
Yes.
Vijay?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Your
can hear
voice
you.
is not clear. Will you set up the audio?
How is it right
Your
now?
voice is breaking up.
Is it good now?
It's much better.
Okay. I was on a speaker before.
Yes, better now.
So project human resource management has the major process is the human resource planning, acquire the project team, develop project team, and manage the project team. So, so these are the major processes in project human resource management. So if you look at the chart on the overview of the tools and techniques, inputs and outputs, so develop human resource plan. The input is the resource requirements for the project and your environmental and organization process assets, and tools and techniques for the organization chart and position descriptions, networking, organization theory. So basically putting a structure in place on the roles and responsibilities and the reporting structure for the particular project. So then you need to acquire the project team. So based on your project plan timeline, you need to know when the resources are required, when and what time the resources are required for the project. So programmers may be required in the programming phase, maybe business analysts may be required much earlier, and QA testers may be needed in the later point in the project. So in acquiring the project team, you can do the pre-assign the resources to the project. If you already have the resources, sometimes you may have to do the negotiation to, again, like get the resources and hire them, and also acquisition and virtual teams. So sometimes we have outsourcing and stuff, then we have on-site offshore model, or people in different geographical locations. That would be the virtual teams. So output would be the project staff assignments, resource calendars and stuff. And once you have the people, then you want to develop the project team to make sure everybody is performing to the expectations of the project. So developing the project team includes using your interpersonal skills, training the resources, doing some team building activities, and setting up some rules, co-location. Maybe sometimes it's good to put together people in the same location, so for better interaction, communication, giving the recognition and rewards for good performance. Then outputs would be the team performance assessments and then enterprise environmental factors. So then you do the manage the project team. So the management, you do more of observation, conversations, and do the project performance appraisals, conflict management, like look at what are the various conflicts that come up in the project, how do you resolve them, and track the issue log, interpersonal skills and stuff. So these are the major components of the project human resource management. So we'll get into more details of this. So human resource planning determines the roles and responsibilities, reporting relationships, and creating the staff management plan. The roles can be assigned to performing the project or external to it. In most projects, majority of the human resource planning is done in the early project phases. This is tightly linked with the communications planning, since the project organization structure will have a major effect on the project's human resource requirements. So I think human resource and also communications go hand in hand. So they're more tightly interlinked. So it also affects how the communications and everything exists in the organization. So outputs from the organization plan or the roles and responsibilities, um, like your project roles, who does what and who decides what must be assigned to the appropriate project stakeholders. Project roles and responsibilities are closely linked to the project scope definition. So the roles and responsibilities are very important because that actually tells who has authority to do what, and like certain stakeholders also, like who has the authority to approve the change request, approve the change in the schedule as well as cost, and also who is responsible for the design, who is responsible for the administration, who is responsible for the programming. So all the roles and responsibilities are defined for each position. The staffing management plan describes when and how human resources will be brought into and taken up the project. So we give people for 3 months, 6 months, 7 months. So we actually discuss what is the time period for each particular position. Project organization chart is a graphical display of the project team and their report. Yes.
Are you sharing something or you are on a presentation?
I'm on presentation, yes.
Yeah, you are not shared.
You can't see it?
No. I can see this chart, Project Human Resource Management Overview.
No, actually I went, no. So outputs includes the roles and responsibilities, assignments, staffing management plan, project organization chart, and etc. So organization chart could be in different formats. So some of the formats are the hierarchical type organization charts. I think this is what we mostly see in the organization.
Really, I can't hear you. The voice quality is very bad today.
Oh yeah. How about now? Can you hear me now?
I'm on 9-1.
Sorry? Can you hear me now? Pranesh, are you able to hear me okay?
Hear you very well. I can.
I think if Pranesh is able to hear, then nothing wrong with my phone. Maybe. Hey, Neil, are you dialed into the meeting or are you using your computer, mic and speakers?
I think he's offline.
Neil?
I can hear you better now.
Okay. Now, did you dial into the number or are you
Hello.
using the computer? Hello?
I'm using the computer.
Can you dial into the
I'm
number?
using the computer.
Maybe it's breaking up because of the internet
Sure, I
connection.
have.
You can try calling into the dial-in number.
Quite possible. Let me dial in. Sure. What's the number?
314
Just one
627.
second. Can you write it down? Can you write it down? Just one.
Or I can just type it in the chat window here.
Neil, if you click on use telephone under the audio mode, you are gonna get the number and everything.
Okay.
Neil, did you dial in?
William, dialing in.
Okay. Neil, let me know once you dial in, okay? Neil, are you back?
Yes, William.
Neil, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think you may want to hang up from the other computer. I think
Yes, fine now.
okay.
Sorry,
So
what?
for organizations, okay. For organization chart, these are the various formats: hierarchical type organization chart, matrix-based responsibility chart, and the text-oriented format. So mostly we use organization chart. So in your companies, do you see of which one do you guys use mostly? For your hierarchy and
It's organization chart.
organization chart, right? So this is a resource histogram, like the number of hours each resource or resources are working throughout the project timeline. If you want to track that, this is one of the charts that can be used. So next process after the human resource planning is acquire project team. So this involves getting the needed human resources assigned to and working on the project. So like we discussed, when you want to acquire the project team, like if you are in an like a matrix type of organization, then you have to negotiate the resource time and everything with the functional manager. So some negotiation will be involved, and also sometimes we pre-assign the resources. Then we may have to do the higher resources, or we may have some virtual teams for the project. So develop project team is enhancing the ability of individuals, enhancing the trust and cohesiveness among the team members in order to raise the productivity through better teamwork. So in order to increase the productivity of the team as well as perform the better, so you have to look at the ways how you can develop the project team so that they're contributing to the expectations of all the stakeholders and the management. So develop project team could be complicated in a matrix organization structure because the individual team members are accountable to both functional manager and the project manager.
Hey Vijay?
Yes.
Just to make sure that it's my computer or everybody are looking at the same this hierarchy chart organization.
No, I actually skipped. Neil, can you see what slide are you seeing?
I'm seeing the same which Nish is talking about, the PM hierarchical type organization chart, then the responsibility chart and all that.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like it's frozen, like it's
Can you refresh on your side?
there is no refresh here.
Okay, let me stop sharing and again share again.
Yeah.
I just did, yeah. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, now it's a different screen.
Which one are you seeing?
Roles and responsibility definition.
No, I'm seeing the staff hours for senior designers.
Yeah, the same one. The chart.
Now
Okay,
I'm seeing the acquire project team.
Okay. Now I'm showing develop project team.
No, I'm seeing acquire project team.
How about you, Prinesh?
Acquire project team.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now I can see develop project team.
Okay, good.
Same with me.
See, organization, I think Rajan had a question here. What's the difference between organization chart versus matrix base? For the roles and responsibilities, we're using the organization chart. When you're talking about matrix organization structure, I think when we started the first class, we discussed about various project kind of structures, right? One was the matrix, and also we projectized the organization, matrix organization, then what else? Functional organization. So do you guys remember the difference between the matrix and projectized organization? Prinesh, Neil? See, projectized organization is
Yeah.
um, like when you have a dedicated manager and you only report to your particular manager and you don't report to anybody else, while in a matrix organization you have two bosses. One is your regular manager and you have another manager reporting for the project. So that always happens in the company, right? So are you guys working in the matrix organization?
Mine is highly projectized.
Projectized, okay.
Most of
Normally
the
what so like in
most
my
of the
case
time
I report,
business manager
like I report to an IT manager, but if there is a project that is being run by an operations people and they require some IT resource, then then I'll be in a matrix type. I report to a matrix manager as well as IT manager. So that is the case. I actually report to a director. So what we are saying here is in the matrix organization structure, like you have two bosses, right? Like a regular manager and a project manager. So then you don't have much power on the resource. So the developing the team will be a little difficult because even the appraisals and everybody is done by the financial manager, and project manager just assign the tasks to get it done. So I just move to the next slide, tools and techniques for team development. Can you see that?
no.
Maybe it may take a minute or two to do that. So tools and techniques for team development or team building activities. I'm sure all your companies might take you out for team building activities to an offsite location and stuff. So did you guys go anywhere, Pranesh or Neil, in your project?
Yes, depends. Like all projects are different, but most of the time it's all in-house for us.
Right. So for team development, like you can do like a team building activities like to offsite location, maybe they actually take you to some bowling or some kind of other activities outside the work, and also general management skills, recognition and reward systems. It's very important that you always have to reward the good performance and recognize the efforts. So that is how you can motivate the people working in your team. And also have ground rules and also co-location. So sometimes if you're in virtual teams, then you may have to get the people to have like a face-to-face interaction so that they can work much better in the team. And you also provide some training aspects to develop any of the weak skill sets and everything. So did you refresh does it show tools and techniques now?
Yeah.
Okay. So next thing is manage project team. It involves tracking the team member performance, providing feedback, resolving the issues, coordinating changes to enhance the project performance. One moment. So when you're managing the project team, you'll have to look at how people are performing in the project and giving some feedback on their jobs, and as well as resolving the issues, coordinating changes to enhance the project performance. So some of the things are you need to observe the team behavior, like people are positive, working hard, or they have negative behavior and they're not contributing well to the team, and what are the conflicts that come, and how do you resolve the issues, and appraise the team member performance and stuff. All this stuff come under the managed project team. So some of the tools and techniques like we discussed is by observation and conversation with, maybe you need to have a one-on-one session with different team members to understand their issues, concerns, and get them resolved. And do the project performance appraisals, looking at your status report as well as schedule performance and everything. And I also do the conflict management when there are conflicts in the team, and you manage all the issues using the issue log in the project. So how do you manage the conflicts in the project? So Blake and Mountain have delineated 5 modes of handling conflicts. So these are different strategies of how you can handle the conflict. Conflict is withdrawal, retreating, or withdrawing from a potential disagreement. So withdrawal is the disagreement, you're just withdrawing from the particular conversation. So that is called a withdrawal strategy. Smoothing is de-emphasizing or avoiding the areas of differences and emphasizing the areas of agreements. So smoothing is you're only talking about only the areas of interest, and you're again avoiding the areas of differences. Compromising is bargaining and searching for solutions that bring some degree of satisfaction to the parties in dispute, characterized by give and take attitude. So in compromising, we're actually, as a give and take attitude, we're actually coming up with a compromise solution that is acceptable to both the parties. Then forcing is exerting one's viewpoint at the potential expense of another, often characterized by competitiveness or win-lose situations. Forcing is more of an aggressive behavior that you're just trying to impose on the other. So it's a win and a lose situation. So one guy wins and another is a lose situation. Confrontation is facing the conflict directly, which involves a problem-solving approach where affected parties work through disagreements. So confrontation is you're talking about your areas of disagreements and trying to resolve it as a problem-solving approach. So surely there will be some questions on this conflict management. So be aware of all the different conflicts, like handling conflict strategies and the definitions and stuff. So depending on situation, people use one or more of these things in handling the conflicts. So. And conflict intensity is most of the conflicts occur over the following issue in the order of decreasing intensity. So in a project scenario, most likely the conflict occurs on the schedules. Like maybe you can do it only end of August, but your management wants to get it done by end of July. Or it could be with the priorities, which one has to be done first, and manpower, resource issues, technical issues, administration, personality conflict, cost. So these could be the various conflicts that could occur in the project, and the top conflicts could be related to your schedules, priorities, manpower, technical issues, administration, personality conflicts, and etc. So have you guys heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs before? Yes? I don't know if you have studied any management subjects in college or anything. Then.
I used to teach management.
Oh, okay. I think Rajan had a question, what is co-location? Co-location is like people sitting in the same conference room and working on the project. maybe if you're doing some testing, anything like, or maybe the users, maybe fun analysts, developers, testers sit in a particular room and do the testing. So co-location is sitting at the same location, like face to face and working on it. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So why we are learning this is you need to understand this. This is how you can look at how to motivate the people. So I think every person has the basic needs, which are the psychological, food, water, clothing, shelter, sleep. So once these needs are satisfied, then they look for economic security, protection from harm, disease, violence. Then next thing will be social, like love, belongingness, togetherness, approval, group membership. Then esteem is self-esteem, reputation, respect from others, recognition, and self-confidence. And self-actualization is doing what one can do best, full realization of potential, self-development, creativity. So in order to motivate the people, so you may have to look at like self-esteem and giving the recognition and stuff. And also sometimes you're giving a pay rise to the people is also kind of motivation, right? So all these things, these are the various Maslow's hierarchy of needs that maybe you need to be aware of, especially from human resource standpoint. So there is another theory, Hertzberg's theory of motivators and hygiene factors. So as per this theory, Hertzberg constructed a two-dimensional paradigm of factors affecting the people's attitudes about work. He concluded that such factors as company policy, supervision, interpersonal relation, working conditions, salary, or hygiene factors rather than motivators. According to the theory, the absence of hygiene factors can create job dissatisfaction, but their presence does not motivate or create satisfaction. Like based on this theory, like company policies, your supervision, interpersonal relationship, working conditions, salary, are more like the hygiene factors, like which doesn't the absence of those can create dissatisfaction but doesn't motivate it. So even if you get a good salary, right, then maybe you're happy for a week, then after that it doesn't motivate you to do the job well. So motivation is important for each and every one of the persons. So in contrast, she determined from the data that motivators were elements that enrich a person's jobs. He found 5 factors in particular that were strong determinants of job satisfaction. So for job satisfaction, as per this theory, one is achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, and advancement. So these motivators were associated with long-term past efforts in job performance, while the hygiene factors consistently produce only short-term changes in job attitude. Efforts have been recognized. So those are things which actually motivates the team. So when you're having a team resource management responsibilities, so these are the things you need to look at to motivate the people, and also look at the hygiene factors. I move on to the next slide, management and leadership styles. As per this, there are different types of leadership styles. So every person has different leadership style. Like, Some could be autocratic. In autocratic, it means the manager makes decisions himself and allows subordinates little involvement and discussion before decision is made. Autocratic is manager just takes the decisions and just imposes it on the subordinates, and he doesn't allow any involvement or discussion before a decision is made. Another leadership style is laissez-faire, where the manager does not interfere with subordinates, so subordinates are largely unsupervised and main elite anarchy. So in laissez-faire, the manager does not interfere with the subordinates, so he doesn't give much direction or decision making, and he's more like a free bird, very unsupervised. The next thing is the democratic. The manager allows the subordinates to discuss the issues and reach decisions, although he will guide and advises. So democratic is he involves all the subordinates, discusses the issues, and come up with a decision in more of a democratic manner. Discussing is a two-way communications and discussion between manager and subordinates. And directing is manager tells people what tasks will be performed, when and how they'll be done. So delegation is to get consensus on what has been achieved and what needs to be done. So delegating the responsibilities. Coaching is providing instruction to others. So facilitating the coordinating inputs from several sources before taking a decision. So participatory, supportive, task-oriented, team-based, etc. So these are various leadership styles and attributes that are required in management and leadership positions. And so depending on situation, sometimes your manager can be autocratic, or sometimes can be democratic, or sometimes can be directing, delegating. So a person can have all different kind of styles, but sometimes they're more specific on one particular attribute. So depending upon this, how do you think your manager or which leadership style do they fall? Dinesh, what do you think?
Democratic for
Democratic.
what type of management we have right now.
Oh, that's good. How about Neil?
Basically, like it's a management style, as you know, like a personal thing, it just varies from person to person.
Right.
But the management as such, like they prefer to have some democratic setup with participatory also. But I have met all kinds of people.
Yeah, I think
One
again it's specific. It's specific to the person, so it keeps changing. So if you have different managers, it has a different style.
the only problem I face is like, as they say, like in IT industry, right? The problem is that IT people tend to be managers. This usually doesn't work out. They are good in IT, but as far as management part is concerned, there are lots of concerns, lots of issues there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The engineering school doesn't teach you management, so that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. I think Rajan says his manager is laissez-faire. Lucky guy.
That is that. Most are not. As I said, like it varies from like person to person, very subjective thing. But he's lucky. Most are not. Most are real things.
Yeah.
But you need to work with them. I believe in one thing which I think can help Rajan and the others. But the other thing is like it's just a job, right? Don't take it seriously. Don't take it personal, right?
Right.
Just do your job. It's like something you say or something they say. It's just part of job. Don't bring it home.
Right. Yeah. So again, we're looking at
The day before we had a meeting which was scheduled by one of my junior students. this guy was not ready for the meeting. He did not have his stuff ready or anything. And this lady manager, who is very senior in the organization, she's a very nice person. But that is not the cool, like, because she was invited to the meeting and nothing was ready. So I just said, like, people, like, react differently in different situations.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. Yeah. So types of roles played by people in a project could be destructive roles or constructive roles. Destructive roles could be aggressiveness, a dominator, devil's advocate, topic jumper, recognition seeker, withdrawer, blocker. And constructive roles could be information seekers, information givers, encouragers, clarifiers, harmonizers, consensus takers, gatekeepers, and initiators. So again, the project teams, I think you see different kind of people taking different roles. Some people are very aggressive, and some people just jump on the topic, and some people are very negative, like they be called devil's advocate, or some people are just seeking some information. So there could be different kinds of roles played by people in the project. So this is the end of the project human resource management. So let us look at few questions here. Neil, can you take up the question number 1?
Sure. What are you saying? All of the following are forms of power derived from the project manager's position, except number A, caution, number B, reward, number C, penalty, number D, expert. Also, let's see.
No, answer here is D, expert. So project manager, based on like his power, he can be formal, reward, a penalty, but he need not be an expert. Like project manager need not be a technical expert or maybe a hardcore programmer or anything like that. So answer is D here. So Pranesh, number 2.
The highest point of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is psychological satisfaction, attainment of survival, need for association, and the esteem. The highest point of Maslow's hierarchy.
Do you remember the chart I showed you before?
Not sure, but
we had the pyramid, we had the triangular structure, right, where we had the lowest to the highest level.
I would go for esteem.
Right, answer is D. The highest is actually the self-actualization, but here it's not listed. So we need to just pick up the best out of here. That would be esteem. Neil, how about 3?
A hollow effect refers to tendency to from within. These are the best. We move people from project management because they are good in this technical field. We move people into project management because they have had project management training. I think it will be A, the most complicated.
No, halo effect is answer is C. That moving the people into project management because they are good in technical fields. So just because somebody is technically very strong doesn't mean he'll become a good project manager. So promoting people based on technical skills is a halo effect. Ganesh, number 4.
An obstacle to team building is a matrix organization is that the team organization in technically focused team member are borrowed resource and can be hard to motivate. Team are too centralized, team are too large, and I would go with the B.
Right. So it's a matrix organization, it's a borrowed resource, then it's difficult to motivate them. Good answer there. Neil, number 5.
All of the following are typical concerns of exercise team members except matrix team members except wondering who will handle their evaluation, be serving multiple bosses, be computing fringe benefits than when working on multiple projects. B.
Right. Good answer there. When you say except, so which one is the wrong one? So wrong one is the fringe benefits. The right ones are matrix. I think you have the issue with evaluation, multiple bosses, and developing commitment. Ganesh, number 6.
Which of the following conflict resolution technique will generate the most lasting solution? I would go with the D, problem solving.
Right. Good answer. So only when you solve the issue, you have a most lasting solution. But if you try to avoid it or force it through, it doesn't help you much. Neil, how about number 7?
So which type of organization is best for managing complex projects involving cross-disciplinary efforts? A, project size, B, functionality line, B, metric. A.
So here the question is, when managing complex projects involving the cross-disciplinary efforts, when you say cross-disciplinary, it requires resources from other departments. The answer is D here, matrix.
B, metric.
Ganesh, number 8.
The most common cause of conflict on the project are schedules, project priorities, and most common causes of conflict, personalities.
So the answer here is B, resources. I think based on the chart I showed you earlier in my slides, the top 4 sources are schedule, project priorities, resources, and the technical opinions. So that's why I'm missing that. After schedule, project priorities, then the next one is the resources. Neil, you want to take number 9?
What conflict resolution technique is the project manager is using when he says, I cannot deal with this issue now? A, problem solving, B, forcing, C, withdrawal, D, compromising. Withdrawal, C?
Yeah. So it's avoiding the issue, it's C. Next, number 10.
What does a resource histogram shows that a responsibility assignment matrix does not? Time, activity, interrelationship, the person is in charge of each activity. What does a resource? I would go with the D.
No, answer
No,
is
does not.
He's comparing the resource histogram with the responsibility assignment and is saying what does the resource diagram resource histogram show which responsible assignment matrix does not. I had a slide on my slides on the resource histogram diagram.
Okay. I would say like it's a time.
Right, you're right. A good answer there. Yeah. So in the resource histogram, you say what is the resource usage over a period of time. So there is something you don't track in the responsible assignment matrix. So I'm going to send the remaining questions to you guys.
Okay.
Okay, next class we'll have on Thursday at 7 o'clock Pacific time.
Okay. No problem.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay guys, talk to you on Thursday then. Bye.
Sure.